Okay, Mr. Minnick here, helping my Visual Basic students refine their Microsoft Word skills. So in the website, I'm going to go to the lecture notes on Microsoft Word and notice that we have some objectives here that by the end of this unit, say a week from now, you will be able to prove to me at some level of getting an A on some level of criteria that you know how to do these objectives, 1 through 3. First objective, use word processing software to type documents, including our unit vocab assignment about every 2 or 3 weeks. Well, I'm going to pause now and ask the students in the room for examples of other word processing software other than the most famous Microsoft Word program. Well, there are a bunch of programs that were just listed by my fine students in period 10 here of my current Visual Basic class. One person mentioned Pages, the program Pages, which is only useful on a Macintosh computer, and I think recently an iPad or an iPhone can even use Pages. So that's a great program for typing up essays or business letters or something like that. Another popular one is OpenOffice, which is free. I see openoffice.org. You can download it and all that. There might be a pay version, but it's very popular for people that don't want to pay the cost that Microsoft Office, for example, is. And then there's another popular one that I like at home now. It's called LibreOffice, and I think Libre is free. I think in French it might mean the word free. So, yep, it's free. And I encourage you to use it if you don't want to pay the $100 or $200 or $20 a year price of Microsoft Word. Well, anyway, there's yet another one that I like called called Google Docs, and it would look like this. You log into drive.google.com and set up an account, and you're in to a Google Doc. Well, I was just corrected quite aptly here, and Alexis knows that Libre means a book in French, and now I do remember from senior year in French in college about 25 years ago, that is what that meant. So forget about the free Libre thing, but the software is free. Well, here we are back at, whoops, wrong page of lecture notes. Here we are. What do you have to know to get by in this course? Well, you do have to know how to use Microsoft Word, which the school has paid for and installed on your laptop computers. Some of you don't have Word at home, so you might investigate one of those other options. You better know how to do line spacing. So if you're in Microsoft Office, and by note, the copy of Microsoft Office that I have here, well, what version is it? I go to my help menu command. No, on a Macintosh computer, I go to my Word menu command and pop up About Word, and I'm using the Mac 2011 version. So my ribbon bar right here and my menu commands up above that you can't see in this video might be a little different from your copy of Word that you're perhaps using. And that's just the way it is. So you're going to have to be agile. You're going to have to figure it out on your own someday when you're working for a company and you have to use perhaps Word in your corporate setting. Okay, well, line spacing. I don't want to have to type a 5-page paragraph here just to show you how to do line spacing. So I'm going to go on the internet, where a lot of great things are free. I'm going to do dummy text creator. I'm just going to do a search here in Google for dummy text creator, and it brings up one of the many that are out here. Here's one, Lorem Ipsum. And I'm going to scroll down and just use 5 paragraphs, sounds good to me, and I want to generate it, and here it is. Don't try to read this, it'll make no sense. I'm just going to copy and paste 2 paragraphs there of this dummy text generator. And instead of copying it using the menu command that's up here somewhere, I'm going to highlight the section that I want and hold down Command C on my Macintosh keyboard, or perhaps on your Windows computer, Control C to do a copy. And then I come over here into my blank Word document, and I'm going to do a paste. And paste, somebody please tell me here, period 10, what key combination could you use to do a paste if the menu option, Mr. Blanchet? Command V, V as in victory, victory that you'll have in life if you apply these lessons that you're learning here. And notice that this fake text does have a combination of big words, small words, punctuation symbols that is quite similar to anything that you would normally type. If I were to make up dummy text, I'd be doing this. And that is not the normal word length that would flow around like a restaurant menu or something that you might be designing. But because the owner of the restaurant did not give you the menu, the actual menu choices yet to put into the menu, you need something like dummy text to put in there. So that's why I sometimes use these online dummy text generators just to fill up a space so I know it looks good. Okay, anyway, so we have 2 paragraphs of dummy text. What is the line spacing in this current Microsoft Word document? Well, on my copy of Word, I happen to know if I click this little icon right here, I get a choice of changing the line text. I'm going to highlight all of this and check to see what it's currently set at. I can't tell, nothing's checkmarked. So I'm going to change this to 2.0, which is a typical setting that somebody would use for a college or high school term paper or something that you would hand in to a teacher. Okay, other little tips that you better know how to do by the time you graduate high school or really just get to 10th grade. You should know how to center things. So if I have a title of a document here, to center it, we have this centering icon right here, but I have to be clicked in the paragraph, which this is a paragraph, it's a very short paragraph. As long as I'm clicked anywhere in there, I can click this to center it. Notice that this did not center because it wasn't selected, it was a different paragraph. And another thing that you should know how to do is change the font size. So I highlight this, and I know most of you in this room happens to know this, but it's review and video form for people in the future. There's usually a way to change font to a size. Different programs have different buttons on their ribbons, and sometimes this ribbon is gone and you don't see where it is. And then you would have to perhaps use a menu command like you can't really see it up here on my video, but somewhere up here I had a menu command that brings up this way to change the font size as well. And anyway, you also need to know how to make things bold according to my lecture notes and our high school graduation standards. So the bold button happens to be here. Some software I've noticed has a T with a bold look to it, so it's not always B for bold. And also you should know how to change the actual font of the text, not the font size, but the font. So again, highlighting that title, I might choose the standard Calibri font, very standard one. Some fonts are not installed on all computers. Whoever invents a font sometimes gets money for that font, for designing the creative, artistic curves and way of doing it, way of forming these letters. Some fonts are free, some are you have to buy and install on your home computer. Anyway, I'm going to go back to Calibri, and that's that. Also in the lecture notes, reminding myself of what else I have to cover in this chapter. Font size, copy, paste. Hey, what's the difference between a copy and a paste and a cut and a paste? So Anna W. just told me off camera that cut and paste, this sentence right here, if I choose cut, which is Control or Command X on my keyboard, it takes it away. Now it also sucked that second paragraph in with the first paragraph, so I'm hitting the Enter key to move it back down where it belonged. But right now, in some imaginary place called the clipboard of the computer, is that selection, that sentence that was copied. And now I choose where I want to paste it. Sometimes you can paste something into a brand new document, or even another application such as your email program or some other program like PowerPoint. So copy and paste usually works across programs. Not always, but usually. Cut and paste, I meant to say. Well, let's just paste that sentence down here. And by holding down Command V on my Macintosh, it pastes there. So as Anna's explained, cut and paste moves the original. Copy and paste, of course, if I highlight this sentence and do Command C, it makes a copy of it without changing the original. And now I can click my cursor somewhere else and get my cursor blinking there and do Command V to paste somewhere else. Okay, another thing every student should know here how to do is to print a document. So having this document, pretending that it's the final version, you know what, I'm going to also add margins to this video. So before we print, check this out. When you have a document, you can usually find a way to go into like a print preview. So I'm going to sneak into my print preview mode, which on this copy of Word, it's under the View menu command. I can just kind of view this in the print layout, and because I'm zoomed in, I'm going to zoom out to like 50% just to see how this would look on the paper if I were to have printed it out. Your left over here margin, your right margin, the top margin, and the bottom margins, if you fill up this page, are all being set behind the scenes. You can find that somewhere in your Layout tab of this version of Microsoft Office. But there's always a way to do it in your menu commands by finding the right spot in a drop-down menu command, such as under Format Document was here. Well, let's check these margins. According to this, at the top, I have 1 inch at the top. You know, it's confirmed here and here. Right and left are both set as 1.25 inches, and the bottom is 1 inch, even though right now I'm not using up the whole space. So you can change that. If you need to squeeze everything on a page, you would make this margin smaller to try to consolidate 2 pages to 1 page. I never go down below 0.75 because sometimes printers can't print things if it's too close to the margin. I'll put it back to 1.25 though. And the top margin, of course, can be increased or decreased, and likewise using these menu commands. Okay, so we have margin control there, and now finally I'm going to print my document. File print. I do not like to my students to just blindly click this printer icon that they might see in some programs like Microsoft Word, because then it comes out of the printer and there are no takebacks, and you might have wasted a piece of paper when you realize in the printer that the margins just aren't right, or you have one misspelling or something, which I guess misspellings you should have fixed by now at this point of printing. But at any rate, I don't like this over-reliance on this icon. Instead, I prefer going to the menu command that's often available, file print ... Who can explain to me the difference between menu commands that have the ... versus menu commands that don't have a ... after it?
Once you click after the ... will bring you to another pop-up window to come up, but if it doesn't have a ... it'll go right to what you want it to do.
Perfect. The ... gives you more choices on a future dialog box to make before you commit to a course of action. Let's find one that doesn't have the ... like file save. That saves it no matter what, and we'll talk about that a little bit later here. Okay, so I went to print ... and I have these choices to make, and among those choices is just the range of pages that you might want to choose. In most copies of Microsoft Office that we have in the school district, you might have a chance to save as a PDF here, which we'll cover that on another part of this video later, but that's really the only thing interesting there. Now I can click cancel or print depending on whether I want to follow through with the printing. I'm not. I'm going to click cancel. Okay, the last menu command I want to stress here is file save and file save as. If you do save, it saves the document and doesn't ask any questions because there's no ... there. But the save as ... gives you these choices. Check this out. You can change the name of the document, which I'm just going to call this 2014 Teaching Word, and you choose the location of where you want to save it, which is always nice to put things in different folders by choice and organize your life. Maybe you want to go to your desktop and save it. Maybe you want to drill down into a folder and save it. such as my folder worksheets here. And I go into Visual Basic, and we'll just call this Unit 2. And right in here is where I could save it with the name 2014 Teaching Word. But you also get a chance to change what format. I'm going to save this with the format DOCX. Done. No takebacks, it's saved. But now I'm going to do another save as, ... and change this to version 2 by adding to the name up at the top. And now I can either change the location to another spot on my computer, or keeping it in the same folder, I now save it with a different name. This is a great way to split off a document into 2 versions in case you're not sure of which version you like the best as you do something for another class. Okay, now let's talk about the format. You can also choose the right format of a document. If you're on a home computer and your college professor or high school teacher is unknown to you and you don't know what type of computer he or she has, or what applications such as Microsoft Office and Microsoft Word that they have, you could do a save as, but then change the format here to plain text. That's always the safest. Things that are bold will not stay bold, but at least it saves it in a way that practically anybody else in the world who owns a computer will be able to open it up. Sometimes the RTF is good too, because that saves bold and a few other things, rich text. But you'll lose things like clip art or graphics. PDF is a great way to save it if you don't want other people to be able to edit it very easily. They'll still read it, but they won't be able to make changes very easily, if at all. Okay, I'm going to save it as plain text and do a save. And now version 3, I have to also admit to it and say, yes, I know it's going to lose a bunch of line endings and stuff like that. Okay, oh well. And I'm going to do another file save as, and quickly before the bell rings here, I'm going to save it as a PDF. And now in a future video or in this class, I'm going to open up all 3 of those and show you that some of those will open up in other programs and some of them will not. But the text most surely will.